And we are back. And we just finished watching 2011's Arthur Christmas, rated PG with a runtime of 1 hour and 37 minutes. We saw this on Max, but you can also find it on Prime Video, the TBS app, the TNT app, and to buy rent on Prime Video. This is the story of Arthur Christmas, the second son of Santa, voiced by James McAvoy, who has been relegated to the letters department of, I guess, the North Pole operations, and takes his job seriously because he believes in Santa and he believes in Christmas, while his older brother Steve, voiced by Hugh Laurie, is the heir apparent and runs a tight ship, and on Christmas, I guess, helps his dad, Santa, voiced by Jim Broadbent, deliver millions and millions of packages globally, billions to kids globally. However, through some little snafu, one present for one child in England is misplaced. And from here, we pick up the story where Arthur is resolved to get this package to this little girl. I'm going to go around the table and get impressions. I'm going to start with you. What did you think of the film?
I was really surprised because this is an excellent Christmas movie. This is an absolutely excellent Christmas movie. I loved all the characters. You got Arthur, who is like a true believer in Christmas. He believes that Santa loves all children and wants to make sure every kid wakes up in the morning to a Christmas present under the tree. And then you've got Steve, who is just about the operation and the efficiency and the completion. And he has basically built a system with thousands of little elves helping where they could pretty much almost like carpet bomb an entire city with like surgical precision gifts and just be like in and out like that. And they have the giant sleigh ship, which is like out of science fiction.
Yes.
Giant
they
hovercraft.
replaced Santa's sleigh with just this massive mothership. And then there's Santa, Jim Broadbent, who is kind of just
Going through the
motions. I mean, he's not like, I wouldn't say he's like tuned out or dying to get rid of the job. In fact, he even like thinks he's going to do it again next year, despite what Steve thought was going to happen. But you can see he doesn't really have that care. And then there's Grand Santa, who is
voiced
just
by Bill Nighy,
who's just like old. I did Christmas with nothing but a single drunk elf and a reindeer, and we lost the elf somewhere over the Pacific, and I never saw him again.
No, we did like 9. I had to do Christmas with like 6 reindeer and a drunk elf all by myself during World War II.
During World War II.
Also, he's dropped that he almost started World War III.
Yeah. And he's like, he's basically like, there's an incident with a kid possibly seeing Santa, and he's like, all I needed was a sock full of sand and a dab of whiskey on their lips. Basically implying he's going to beat a kid unconscious if he sees him.
He said he didn't remember a thing.
So, yeah, this was really good. I enjoyed this. The humor was spot on. It wasn't saccharine, even though it had a very Christmassy message. And that happens a lot in Christmas movies where it's everybody's just like, oh, gee, yay. We're all together and hugging at the end. You could say this did have a positive message or a message that could have been saccharine, but the way it was told was just outstanding.
I think we have Aardman to thank for that. I think Aardman does really great storytelling.
Yeah. And it has that sort of like English humor sensibility where they're not afraid to go a little dark when it's needed, not going overboard. It's not vulgar in any way, shape, or form. It's
because at the end of the day, the British are still proper.
Yes, it's proper dark British humor, which I love. But for the most part, it was very light. It was very light and very sweet.
The grandpa said, so finish the shop with a stone.
What?
How they crossed the sledded Africa. And he's like, don't leave us here. If you're going to do this, at least finish the job.
At least finish me off with a rock.
That was crazy. G, what did you think of the film?
I thought it was pretty good. When you turn this film on, I was like kind of upset because I didn't want to watch it. It looked stupid, but it was good. And I didn't think that it was bad. It was fun, and it didn't move too slow.
No, I mean, an hour and 37 minutes, so it's not too long. And I think the pacing on this storytelling is decent. Did you have a favorite character?
I liked Arthur.
Yeah, why'd you like Arthur?
Because he cared about, like, every single kid. He wanted, like, every kid to experience the joy. And he wasn't just cared about, like, the numbers, like, what's his face, Steve. And he wasn't out of it like his dad. But Grand Santa was also really funny. I liked his character as well.
Yeah, Grand Santa was
also, great. Mrs. Claus. Actually, Mrs. Claus is my favorite character, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Because she was smart. She was way smarter than Santa, and she was more capable than all of them. She could have done that by herself.
Probably. Mm-hmm. Women are the glue. What about Bryony, the elf that came with Arthur?
She
was pretty awesome.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah, she
rapped
was
like a
super
ninja.
capable. Yeah,
She did.
I was a little jealous.
Her character design kind of took me out. I didn't like the way the elves looked.
Okay, fair enough.
They were built like lollipops.
Kind of. Like small lollipops.
Their bodies were sticks and their
I
heads
think everybody
were
was kind of
massive.
built. I mean, Arthur was like a stick with a massive head as well.
Yeah. Although his wasn't as massive as the...
He had a really
as
big
the
nose.
elves.
In comparison, yeah.
Yeah.
He's really fat.
Like the
nose.
elves were almost like 40 to 50% head.
Yeah. If you saw it in real life, you'd be scared. Also, if they were in real life, they wouldn't be able to hold themselves up.
Yeah.
Right, they're like Blythe dolls. Those
Yeah.
dolls with the skinny bodies and the huge heads. Mm-hmm. This is a very British production, mostly British voice actors. You've got James McAvoy, Jim Broadbent, Bill Nighy, Hugh Laurie, Imelda Stanton, Ashley Jensen, Mark Wotton. Laura Linney is American, but she's also in there. Eva Longoria, American, but also in there. I don't know where Ramona Marquez is from. She played Gwen, the little girl who got her bicycle at the end. Michael Palin's a voice. Robbie Coltrane. Sanjeev Bhaskar.
Butt kisser.
Easy.
It was true that.
Well, was he the butt kissing
lead
elf?
I don't know. It says lead elf. A lot of these actors have lead elf. Joan Cusack.
I'm pretty sure lead elf.
There was
the
no
butt
actual
kisser.
butt kissing. It was just
Yeah.
this elf. Steve had a very sycophantic little elf sidekick.
Yes, who was, yeah.
Yeah, disturbingly sycophantic.
Yeah. Olive G. Did I get your impressions about this film? No.
No.
What'd you think?
I thought this movie was great. I actually watched it before, so I knew it would be good.
Ah, very nice, very nice. Did you have a favorite character?
I would say Grand Santa and Mrs. Claus. 'Cause,
Yes.
they were really good.
Yeah.
Like, Mrs. Claus, of course, was very smart compared to... She was able to fix the ship, and then Santa screwed it up again. And she was really smart.
And Grand Santa was just naughty.
Grand Santa was insane.
He was insane.
He forced the slaves into slavery, basically. He said, she's like, how did you get the elves to work? And he's just like, I threatened to feed them to the polar bears if they did.
Did you have a favorite scene?
Honestly, there are a lot of good scenes, but most of my favorite scenes were probably with Grand Santa and it just spouting a bunch of nonsense about like
I could see that.
putting elves to slavery or or like how he almost started World War III or something.
Yeah, Bill Nighy is just so goddamn amazing. He really is.
Yeah,
And
he's
anything he does. He's got that crazy voice and he's just good. Even as just a voice acting.
I wouldn't say
gig.
he's got a crazy voice. He just has a good voice. It's
Yeah.
like a good, solid, sort of like proper old British voice.
Yeah.
But you could see him like saying just
crazy stuff.
somewhat disturbing things like socking a kid over the head with a sock full of sand
And throwing,
and
was
putting
it
some
whiskey?
whiskey in his mouth.
Putting whiskey on his
I mean, but then again, isn't that how they got like babies to sleep in the old days? Just
Sure,
put some
sure.
whiskey on your finger and that'll
Yeah.
make the kid go to sleep.
Yeah. The old ways.
I said that would help with teething or whatever the hell.
I think so. That's correct.
I think that was just to help mom and dad sleep while the kid was teething because they'd be just
knocked out.
knocked the hell out, blackout drunk.
Just one thing of whiskey?
Yeah. I mean, when you're a baby. Yeah.
For an infant.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking infants that they would do this
Oh,
to.
God.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
This
doesn't
is
take a lot.
before tablets and cable
Yeah.
television. Parents had to
And
figure out ways
pacifiers.
Or
to
even
not.
pacifiers. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just here.
Yeah.
Have some whiskey.
Whiskey.
The animation on this was beautiful. This was done in conjunction with Sony Pictures. Really, really well done. This is screenplay credits to Peter Baynham and Sarah Smith. Directing credits to Sarah Smith and Barry Cook. This was just top to bottom, really, really great storytelling, really great production, lovely story with just a lot of good messaging where you want to honor the holidays and keep traditions, but also, I guess, make way for the younger people. I think that when regular Santa, played by Jim Broadbent, decides in that moment to give up his claim to the throne, he understood that he was already past his prime in this situation, and
Yeah, because he didn't have that feeling anymore.
right, he
I mean,
just
maybe he
didn't-
did once upon a time because Grandpa Santa was
Grand
like
Santa.
Grand Santa. He was like, how could you be a Santa without having ridden in the sleigh? And he was just talking about how I remember when your father rode in that seat that you're sitting in, looking at me the way you are, and you could see these like little hints and asides. I mean, it's obvious where it's gonna go, but it's like it's earned. It's really well done.
Yeah.
I
And
would
it's-
definitely say this is put this in your Christmas rotation of Christmas
holiday movies. Absolutely, yeah. I think, and it's lovely because it's not like Arthur's Game of Throning it. He's not trying to cut anybody's throat to get to the title, but he, on his own, through his own merits, just deserves it. And I think the father understands that. And even the brother, who's kind of been brought up to believe that he's the heir apparent, knows that he has his limitations.
Right. There's like a true feeling that you have when you know Santa Claus when you see him.
Right.
And you know how Santa Claus is supposed to feel. And Arthur embodies that.
Right. And
in
it's
ways that the others just, I mean,
Just
it's
couldn't,
not like
yeah.
Steve was evil or bad or anything.
No.
It was just, he valued things other than what really mattered. And what really mattered was that every kid got something and basically felt that feeling.
right.
Yeah.
And then that scene towards the end when they're in the closet and Arthur turns to his father and is like, "Let's watch." And he's like, the father didn't even think of that. All these years that he's been doing this, he's like, "Oh, I never even stopped to think to look at
Yeah.
just to see a child and that magic
Yeah,
that
like-
happens when they open up that
Exactly.
gift and it's exactly what they've wanted and what they've asked for."
It's like you forgot what you were doing it for.
Exactly. And when you see the side profile where the father is looking at Steve kind of to propel him to make that decision, like, you know, you've earned this, but
Yeah.
there's someone who deserves this more. And you just see like this unadulterated joy just emanating from Arthur. And it's lovely because, again, this is an animated film, and yet to create this visage of just joy and whatnot is kudos to the animation teams on these things. They're just brilliantly done. Amazing work. I'm going to go around the table and get numbers. I'm going to start with you. What do you think? 1 to 10.
As Christmas movies go, I'd give this a 9.
G, 1 to 10.
I think it's like an 8. I like this movie.
Olive G,
8.5.
8.5. You know what? I too will give this a 9. I was terribly impressed with it. I too think, like G, I came into this kind of not expecting much, but
Yeah,
being
same.
very pleasantly surprised, actually. And it was lovely. It was just really well done. Really great storytelling, fantastic animation, sensational voice acting by everybody, even the lesser characters. Apparently Andy Serkis is one of the voices on here. I never would have known.
Well, he is like
He's a chameleon,
the
that guy.
voice acting master.
Yeah. All right. So, yes, absolutely. If you have Max, go, run, don't walk, and check out Arthur Christmas from 2011. It is rated PG. Nothing profane.
No.
And even though this is a Christmas movie, you are not bombarded by the reason for the season. So if you don't celebrate Christmas, I think you could still watch this. I don't think there's anything overtly religious or whatever.
It's just a sweet Christmas movie.
It's a sweet Christmas movie. Yes. 1 hour and 37 minutes. Absolutely. Go check it out. And that's it from us. And we will bid you all a
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
good night.